So, but to me, it's better to to find all this stuff out when you're in the top bracket. You're going to make the most money. You're going to be working on the best projects. You're gonna meet the best people, I think. So that's my one bit of advice. Don't be afraid to take a job making coffee. And if you make coffee, make the best damn coffee they ever had.
Yeah, yeah.
And then somebody notices, man, he makes good coffee. I wonder if he knows how to make Xerox copies. Of course I know how to make Xerox copies. You make the best damn Xerox copies they ever saw. Wow, this guy's really good with the paperwork. Well, maybe he knows how to work a recording machine. You do that, and you pay attention, and you don't make any mistakes.
Mm. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Rising. Yeah,
Greg,
that's it to me.
Moving away a little bit from
Sure.
the media business, considering what do you think? Where are we going on this planet? What's going to happen to us over the next 20, 30 years?
Well, man, I really think that the largest issue that we all need to solve, and I don't know if it's all of us together or engineers or whoever, I seriously think it's the energy problem is the number one issue for me anyway. In the respect that we have to start establishing, more renewable sources, and not just energy, but renewable sources of everything. Less disposable things. Solar is doing well, but I mean it's not a secret that eventually we're going to run out of material that we can use to burn, material that we can natural resources. So to me, I think that's that's an issue, because our demand and our consumption continues to rise. And as we build scenarios where more people are looking for better jobs, and they want to increase their standard of living, and they want a little nicer house, and they want a little better TV, which draws a few more watts, as that keeps happening, the demand for energy continues to rise. So anything that we can come up with that's either renewable or non-destructive. I'm a big fan of wind. We put in a great big installation in Maui, and it's working really well. But I mean, for instance, here in Cebu, there's brownouts every day, for an hour, and they're scheduled, because they can't afford to continue the generators. I think that's why it is anyway. But to me, I think that's one of the biggest issues.
Is that a political thing? Is our leadership doing enough of that? Is the system that we have working? I mean, Obama is in power now. People still say a lot of good things about him, but when I just look at what's happening, we're still at war with in Iraq, Afghanistan. The healthcare reforms that he did bring in, I think they're a good start, but they're not anything like what we have over here in Europe. Is it enough? Is it enough in time?
Well, I don't know. I think that government by nature, or to me almost by definition, is supposed to take care of people. Okay, and I think that there are always motivations that are far beyond anything that we know about. I mean, there certainly have been enough motion pictures like Wag the Dog, other pictures like this, intimating that what we see is not necessarily what it is, right? And I believe that to a large extent. I think that the wars are politically motivated. But I think they always have been. I don't think that there's an innate hatred people amongst other people that would continue to make it this bad. So I think unless the entire world moves to a more socialized kind of a scenario, but then again, if we're gonna look at the theological implications, I mean, isn't that one of the signs of the end, right? Where we all move to one political system.
I don't know. I think in a way it is. Recently, I've been reading a lot of what psychologist Carl Gustav Jung was writing about, and he describes something that we all go through that's called an individuation process, where we as individuals learn how to live in the collective without losing our individuality. Because if you think about it, if we all become the same, society where everybody is the same is not able to survive. We all know that. I mean, that's no way to go. So the question for me is not really how do we become more individual. We also need, how do we retain and increase our own individual traits, but at the same time make it work as a collective. We haven't made that work on a global scale yet. It's not happening. I mean, the Western countries, Europe, maybe the US as well, they're pretty close to, they have a fairly high level of education, but on a global scale, we haven't accomplished that. And, in the days of maybe the Roman Empire, when they went to war, okay, that was pretty disastrous as any war, but it wasn't necessarily the end of the world. At the moment, we're getting to a level where all these wars, all these threats, they're not good for anyone on a global scale. So I keep thinking, how can we make this work on a global scale for everybody? I think we're not anywhere near close to solving that problem. And as you said, the resources are running out. We don't have that much more time left.
Right. But there are so many factors involved. I mean, there's the entire money issue is how much does money have to do with government? Is money involved with government? Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I think that it's not necessarily bad. I go back to the old days of Chicago, and I grew up when Richard J. Daley was mayor there, and he was accused all the time of political corruption, of all this kind of stuff. But the only thing I can tell you is that if Mrs. Jones, for instance, if she forgot to take her trash out on trash day, because her son was off screwing around someone or whatever. She made one call to a precinct captain. That guy had a trash team over there, picked up her trash, washed out her cans, and put them back. So who are you going to vote for? You know what I mean? Mm. So and the system really, really worked, but it worked from a people level. Daley himself never really made that much money. It wasn't about personal gain. It wasn't about greed. It was certainly about keeping people employed and patronage jobs. And I still believe in that.